Have you ever prayed for something, fasted, waited, even begged, only to hear God say no? Well, if you're in that place, this might be the message you didn't know you needed. Come, let me tell you what happened a few weeks ago. I felt like I was at the cusp of a prayer point, like this prayer request was certainly about to happen. Or maybe I was just a little delulu, which is allowed, it's okay, we're human. Typically, in such moments, I tend to go now and think later, we'll deal with the consequences after, or we'll deal with the repercussions after. But for some reason, I ended up taking a pause and sitting with this feeling or this hint and taking it back to Abba. And in that moment of taking it back to him, I called myself into a meeting and, basically just to reorganize my thoughts and evaluate what the next step should be. However, when you call yourself into a meeting and you are a believer, of course the Holy Spirit is going to be there. And he took this opportunity to turn it into an intervention. Like, girl, you need help. I felt this nudge to just do a 3-day fast. And so, being in a space where I did not want to err or be on the wrong or disobedient or just deal with the consequences of disobedience.
Exactly, because it's a bad idea. But what if it's not a bad idea? It's a very bad idea. But what if it's not? I'm gonna see for myself.
And I did not want to deal with the repercussions of seeing for myself because I knew I needed clarity and I needed the voice that I'm hearing concerning this matter to be Abba's and not my own. I needed to stifle everything that would influence me into coercing myself into thinking that this is God and not myself. I agreed to the fast and I started. Of course, right off the bat, this was Monday. Tuesday, I was fasting. And let me tell you, nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to encounter or endure. Day one was actually surprisingly easy because typically when I fast or when I think I've been told to fast, I get tempted very easily. I see bread and butter, you guys, bread and butter. Why is that my weakness? I see bread and yeah, so I'd given or I'd convinced myself, oh, did God really say you fast? Okay, let's break it and then we'll start tomorrow. All the sorts of excuses. But this particular day, it was the easiest thing. It was just like, no, no thank you, no breakfast, no nothing. Lunch came, I went about my day, prayed, and yeah, it was a breeze. Of course, there was hunger, but it wasn't as intense as I thought it would be. And in those moments, I'd pray and drink water, and I was okay. But towards the end of the day, for some reason, it just felt like I was being nudged to eat something. And I was like, but we've done so well. I don't want to waste the efforts of just this good, glorious day by eating. Like, what will it do? We're already at the end of the day. I'll be fine. But this nudge would not go away. Every time it would spring up in random moments when I'm, busy at work or whatever. But also, just as I was about to leave work, I think about an hour or so before the appointed time to leave, it started raining. And if you know anything about my country and rain, once it starts raining, the traffic piles up, everything becomes so difficult and expensive, like prices just hike up. And I was like, you know what? Let me just chill. So in that chilling, a whole hour after, so leaving time, I spent the hour at the office. Of course, I wasn't working, I was just vibing. And in the next, I think I left 30 minutes after that, but in that period of just waiting and looking at the clouds and swearing them off. Like that thought still kept coming up, like just have one slice, just. And so I did one slice of bread with a bit of butter and peanut butter. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. Let it be healthy, protein and fats. I feel a bit of shame because I wasn't sure if it was my voice or his voice, because I mean, like I said, bread is a weakness. It is a weakness. And I felt really terrible. I felt like I disappointed God, and I went back home and I was like, oh, I'm never eating again until this is done. I'm never ever eating again. Yes, it was that dramatic. I genuinely felt so bad. But we did end up praying in that evening. I say we, it's me and Abba. Yeah, we basically just ended up praying, and I talked to him about the bread, guys, and it was okay. We had a good prayer session. I was speaking about this prayer request or this prayer point, and I just wanted to know the real deal. Like, really tell me, is this it, or is this me filling in the gaps, because I just want it so bad. Day two. Day two was a lot easier, actually. I was so determined, I was so adamant that I will not eat and I will not sleep up, and no matter what, it's just me, water, prayer. That's it. So at any opportunity that came up for food, I just found a way out of it. I didn't go to the kitchenette, and at work, I avoided it like a plague, because as soon as I see it, I avoided it, guys. I avoided it. And yeah, but I came home and my aunt was visiting. So my mom, being my mom, this woman knows how to throw down in the kitchen. She whipped up a nice beef stew. And it smelled so good that if I was a neighbor, I would be tempted to come and knock. Can I have some more, please? But I genuinely would. But I persevered. I hung out with my aunt for a little bit, and then once she got done, in the kitchen and all that stuff, I just found my way to bed, straight to bed.
You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away.
It was just a good night. I did save some because I had plans for it after. Me and that beef stew were gonna have a chat. So I saved some for after, because it was just one more day. And again, we went back to my room, prayed, me and Abba, talked it out. I was very happy about the fact that this day was not trialsome. And I was very happy about the fact that there's progress, and I hadn't realized it yet, but there was hints of the answer, but I hadn't clocked it. So day 3. It all comes crashing down. Guys, it all came crashing down. The enemy said, we will try. Y'all, I thought I had enough. I thought I had calculated this well enough, but I was wrong. If you are a woman, you know what I mean. Because let me just give you this. On a normal, regular day of being a woman on her period, you need the strength of the Lord. You genuinely need the strength of the Lord to just get by. His goodness and mercy carry you forward. But like I said, I made some miscalculations because I thought this was going to happen on Friday, not on Thursday. But Thursday morning, at around 3 a.m., I had a suspicion that this was going to happen. And then at 5 a.m., I was woken up with cramps. and not just gentle, polite cramps. Cramps that want to kill you. So of course, that's the end of sleep, because I tried to push past it, to force that sleep to come back, to force the continuation of that good dream that I was having. No, nothing. And then as I'm tossing and turning, scrolling on my phone and whatnot, when I finally reached out to turn the lights on and I'm adjusting to the light, my eyes catch something. Guys, my eyes caught something on the ceiling. And if you have watched the previous video, you would know that the affiliations between me and this thing are not pleasant, and it's anarchy. When I noticed a slug on the ceiling, it was a tiny wincey one, but it was still nonetheless a slug. And of course, I'm like, nah, I'm hungry. And now there's so much going on with my body. And now you want me to fight a slug? Surely, this cannot be my reality. This cannot be my truth. What do you mean? Is this dramatic? I'm very aware that it is. Do I care? No. Because this... Moving on. Remember, my aunt is visiting, my mom's around. I basically just go to them because they were awake at this point. This is around 7, 8. I go to them and I'm like, guys, there's a slug in my room and I need one of you to be a warrior, a savior, and just deal with it. Because at this point I had armed myself. I had carried a pot of salt. I had carried a broom and a stool. I was prepared. I don't know how I had managed to convince myself to even go and get these things, but I did. And so when it came to act, the convincing and the courage left the chat. So I had to go and beg them, literally guys, beg them to be like, please come and get this, please just fight it, please. And so by this point my mom had left for work, so it was just my aunt and I really prayed. I convinced her by the graces of God. She went and dealt with it, and now it was our turn to get ready and just leave the house. So I had a meeting. And of course, in all of that, got dressed, got prepped, and now we're leaving. In the process of leaving, I'm very okay. As soon as I locked the door, pulled the door in, turned the key, a wave of dizziness just hits me. Dizzy. And I almost passed out, but I'm like, wait. No, this day has to be done. And so, we're making our way to the parking lot. At this point, I haven't told her anything. Once we got to the parking lot, cramps come back, and I'm about to pass out again. Get into the car, I break into sweats because of the amount of pain I am in. And she digs in her bag, she gives me chocolates. I had carried painkillers, I took the painkillers. Nothing. I don't like chocolate, but let me tell you, this was the best morsel of chocolate I've had in my life. Truly. So at this point, I'm talking to Abba and I'm like, I don't think I could go this day without eating. And I don't think my body will stop being in this much pain unless I eat. And I was so discouraged and so disappointed because I really thought that if I don't see through this fast, that it'll be ineffective. All these efforts will be ineffective and they will be disregarded and discounted. And that would have been a missed opportunity to get the right answer or, to hear from God. And so I was really praying and I was really saying, I hope that this doesn't discount whatever we've been working towards or whatever we've been working for and all that stuff. And again, I felt very ashamed. A bit of failure. But it wasn't like an overwhelming thing. For some reason, I still had peace and I was still assured that I'm doing okay. And so at the meeting, I had breakfast. And yeah, the day went on. It was a very long day. I was supposed to come back home at 11 p.m. I don't know. It was very heartbreaking that the choice I had was to break the fast or to die. And, well, not really die, but become that one random stranger who faints in the streets of this town. Not my story. That's not my story. No. Right after that prayer, God reminded me of something bigger than my disappointment. And I think he wasn't actually disappointed in me. I was the one disappointed. I was the one frustrated. He knew it was coming. Yeah, he reminded me of these biblical parallels. David was anointed, yet he still hunted, Samuel came in and he's like, you'll be the king of Israel. And the next day he's still tending to his father's sheep. And then, taking food to his brothers while they're fighting the war. And his brother is like, oh, what about your little sheep? What are you doing here? And after that, there's still 15 years of being chased in the wilderness. Yeah, he could have taken matters into his hands countless of times. He could have killed Nabal, Abigail's husband. He had 2 good opportunities to kill Saul, but he didn't. He wanted to trust in the Lord. He wanted to be obedient to the Lord. And I imagine if he actually did end up killing Saul in those moments, maybe the Israelites would have retaliated against him, or they would have said that you got this throne illegitimately, or, all that kind of stuff. It would have just been refuted. And where would God be with him in those moments? Because ultimately all of this is about your standing with God. Yeah, in spite of all these challenges, he still waited. And the second aspect of this parallel is Jesus. In front of Pontius, at the garden, so many opportunities he had to call angels and be, ferocious with him. I remember, I think it was Peter and Andrew, no, sons of Zebedee are James and John, had spoken to him and they're like, hey, let's call thunder down, let's call fire down like Elijah, and he rebuked them. Why? He stayed his hand. And at the garden, in as much as he wanted this pain and this anguish, he didn't want to face all of it because it's a terrible, painful death. And he prays and he's like, can this be taken away from me? If not, let your will be done. He still submitted, he still surrendered, he still waited for God's word. He gave his anguish to God and he remained diligent, he remained obedient, and he remained patient. The point I'm trying to make here is, if I haven't already, is that they had every reason to choose another path, every reason to veer off and just be like, what you're asking for is too big. But they let God be God. They let God ordain their path, order their steps. When God says no, it isn't a punishment, it's protection. We've seen it with David, we've seen it with Jesus, and so many others. You know, it's protection. Even with Adam and Eve, when they eat the fruit, and he's like, okay, keep them from the garden, because we wouldn't want them to be eternal in this state of corruption. Because in corruption, you end up ruining the things that have been given to you. Like a father who would very much delight in letting you have candy for dinner, he knows that candy is not a suitable meal because it destroys from the inside out. It rots your teeth. There's diabetes, there's kidney failure, like so many problems that could arise. And as a little kid, you don't understand that, you know, there's all these consequences that come up with having candy for dinner. And you just think your dad is being mean and he doesn't love you. And why would you? But in reality, there's so much he's keeping you and protecting you from. Not just even in these little moments or this hour, because you're also not going to be satiated. You'll wake up hungry. You'll have a stomach ache, you know, but in the long run, you're avoiding diabetes. He's teaching you to eat healthy. He's watching over your health and your diet, which are very important elements of living a good life, living a healthy life, you know, and living a long life, that is. And parents, of course, want their kids to live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Where's that movie from? With God, he sees the terrain ahead. You know, you may not see the days that are coming, but he knows the future from the past from the future. Revelation is it that says he knows the beginning from the end. He's the only one who does that, and he's the one who holds tomorrow in his hands. So it's a benefit to us to trust that whatever it is he's saying is not malevolence. It's not to see you suffer, but it is to grow you, so that when he does give you these blessings and these things that you desire, you won't drive them down into ruin. But the point I'm trying to make here is that he sees the terrain, he sees what's ahead, and because of his wisdom, he understands the timing, he understands what traps could have been laid or could be laid, or the challenges that are ahead, and he knows what equipment you need to traverse that. So it's not just no for the sake of no. It's no with love behind it. His no is mercy, it is providence, it is redirection, it's compassion. In all honesty, it's compassion. Because if he hadn't said no to Jesus when he asked, "Take this cup from me," you and I would be doomed for eternity. I assume there'd be no other way to reconcile us back to him. If David had done all of that, you know, maybe he could have been killed at the throne, and that would have been the trend for Israel. You kill your king, you get the kingship, you get the kingdom, you know, or he would have been chased down, because we're told that Israelites didn't like him. They didn't approve of him. If you look at the bigger picture, this no also shapes endurance. It shapes maturity, you know, that you are wise enough to steward the things that you are being given, especially this relationship. You're building that intimacy with him, because instead of running back to your old ways, you run back to him for verification. You're like, okay, what do you want? You know, or what's your opinion on this matter? What do you think should be going on here? So just trust the process and don't run away from him. Don't look away from him. Just stay the course. Don't lose the focus, and the rest will fall into place, because he's the one overseeing all of it. Trust that the person saying no is of good character and isn't spiteful, you know, or isn't petty. I may butcher it, But it says no good thing does he withhold from those who walk with him, right? Ephesians 3:20 says that he has given us exceedingly abundantly above what we could ask, think, or imagine. Matthew 7 says, how much more will your Father give good gifts? I think you're very acquainted with the last one, particularly. You won't ask for fish and he gives you a snake, and you won't ask for bread and he gives you a rock. By the end of the day, so this is when I received my answer. I came home after that very long day. I was so exhausted, you guys. I was so exhausted. And it took me 3 more days to recover from all of that. 3 days of doing nothing to recover. I was praying, but in that moment, it had dawned on me that I had received my answer. And I was a little disappointed, not at him for saying no, but at the fact that I still have to wait. And there's nothing wrong with waiting, but I've been waiting for so long, and I will continue to wait. As long as he needs me to, I will continue to wait. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun at all times, but I'd rather it's waiting for him than waiting for someone who's temperamental and changes like the wind. But I also understood that his no was a rerouting and not rejection. It meant that what is coming is so much bigger and better and brighter and fantastic compared to what this supposed answer was offering. And he's drawing me closer in the process. I didn't lose anything. Actually, I gained something. I gained more awareness of his voice and how he operates, and we just grew closer. And I thought we were closer before. Now there's no way you could snatch me away from God's hands. There's no way. And there's no way you could deceive me from leaving him, because he just keeps showing up, y'all. He just keeps showing up, and I'd be a fool to let all of that go. I know for a fact that by the time I receive this yes, I'll be ready and I'll be rooted and I'll not destroy it. Proverbs says that a foolish woman destroys her own house with her hands. She tears down her house with her own hands, but a wise woman builds it up. And I believe, true to scripture, that will be me. I will not be destructive, but I'll be nurturing, and it'll all be to the glory and honor of him. So I have nothing to lose but everything to gain. Allow me to read this one. I don't want to butcher it, so allow me to read it. Maybe you're in the same place and you've prayed, you've fasted, and all you can hear is silence or no. Listen. Just listen. His no isn't the end. It's not abandonment. It's not rejection. It's protection. It's him withholding what would break you so that he could give you what will bless you. When the yes finally comes, you'll realize his no was love, leading you toward the best thing he has for you. So take heart. You're not being denied, you're being kept. Thank you so much for listening. I do have other videos. They will appear somewhere here. The one YouTube thinks you should watch next is popping up on the screen in a few. Yeah, if you enjoyed this style of video, let me know in the comments below, or just give me a thumbs up. You don't have to use your words. Either way, I'll appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.